And my name's Mark, and I brought my son Ollie, who's 15 years old. So he's right in the middle of all his exams. For those of you who know about these things and who know about, or maybe have teenagers, so it's great to be here, and it's great to worship with you as well, and to sing those songs. And there's two things that struck me about that first two songs that we sung, and I tried very hard to sing them, and I thought I was getting into it, which is great. And two things struck me. The first thing that struck me was that there was a line there that said, "The whole world is yours." Isn't that fantastic?
Amen.
Let's just think about it. The whole world, it's not just Goa, all right? It's not just the UK. The whole world is yours. And we spend so much time in our own culture, in our own kind of little bubble.
That's right.
And the wonderful thing for us coming here is we discover once again up here that the whole world is God's.
Yes.
The whole world.
Yeah.
And the second thing that struck me about those songs was that it said that you made me like you. Isn't that lovely?
Amen.
Isn't that a lovely thing to sing? You made me like you. One of the cornerstones of my belief, and one of the cornerstones that I've come to really acknowledge more in the last 2 or 3 years, is that we are all made in God's image.
Amen. Amen.
Even the guys with grey hair. And
Yes.
and the little boys and girls love my grey hair, and in fact I gel it, so they kind of touch me. They want to touch my hair. They think it's very hard and it's grey. But still, God made us all in His own image. So looking around today, young, old, black, white, anything in between, He made us. He made the people outside. He made His the neighbours in your street, the people on the other side of the world. He made us in His own image.
Amen.
I think we lose sight of that quite often.
Yeah.
We do lose sight of that. And the problem in losing sight of that is quite often that we make God in our own image. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we put our culture and our thoughts and our belief system on God, rather than allowing God to be God and just accept that He is God and that we are made in His image.
Amen.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so I just thought that those two things were really strong. They really strongly came over to me, probably because we are here in, for us, a strange land with some people that don't look like us. But that's great, and that's fantastic. It's really enriching for us. And so, just like Martin said, that when you have visitors, that you bless them. Absolutely. We have already been tremendously blessed by being with you. So, I'm going to sing a couple of songs, because I kind of write songs, and Daniel very kindly got the words up to them so that you can hear them, because you might not understand what I'm singing about. And the first song is a song called The Craftsman's Eye. And Jesus, when he was younger, was a carpenter. Right, that was his trade. He was a craftsman. And you know what craftsmen do? They mould things, and they make things out of various things. Maybe wood, maybe stone, maybe words. A poet or a songsmith might be a craftsman as well. And Jesus was a craftsman. And this song talks about an old wooden shack somewhere. And in that wooden shack, there were lots of pieces of wood. But they're disfigured, they're broken, they've been thrown out, and they're no use to anyone. Until, that is, the craftsman starts to work on them. And he starts to get hold of them, and he starts to mould them. Okay? And he's moulding them so well, it's almost like he's got something perfect to compare, so that he can kind of copy that. Isn't that fantastic? And that's what Jesus does for us. And, the great thing about Jesus, and I'm pleased that we just had communion, because this kind of speaks into this, is that Jesus loves the broken. Jesus came for the broken. I would go further than that, and I would say that Jesus actually has a bias for the broken. He has a bias for the poor, for the broken-hearted, for the broken-spirited. That's why he came. And he showed that because he said, take up your cross. Take up your cross. He didn't say, come along and everything will be fine. He didn't say, come along with me and everything will be easy. He said, take up your cross and follow me. Care for the brokenhearted. And the ultimate thing was him breaking his body for us. So, Craftsman time. Is this amplified? A little bit more, please. An ocean of shavings on the floor. Been there for 10,000 years and more. Old wooden shack with a cross hung on the wall and an open door. Old oak bench with a chisel and saw. Still gleaming bright to greet the dawn. Yeah, it's full of old junk to starve and raw. No use anymore. But the craftsman sees a different story. What he's writing for his glory. A bit by bit, little by little, he's chipping away. Slowly he begins to mold. No one else can see that gold on the scrap heap of our lives. And there's gold in the craftsman's eye. Shattered by the winds and the storms of life. It's on the shelf. So he'll chip off an edge to give away. Now he's got something perfect to compare. So that old work was good and true. What he's writing for his glory, bit by bit, little by little, he's chipping away. Slowly he begins to mold where no one else can see the gold. On a scrap heap of our lives, there's gold in the craftsman's eye. In the craftsman's eye. Okay, sing one more, yeah?
Yes.
So this song, I play in a band, and we go to festivals and pubs and restaurants and play. you know, because it's good to take something of our lives outside as well as being there. So some of the songs that I write are a little bit kind of acute. They just kind of they talk about my faith, but in a kind of a very small way, so that people can just hear a few words. And this song is a little bit like that, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's called Imagine Just for a Moment. And you know, our faith starts with what if, doesn't it, really? If we're honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't start with certainty. We don't suddenly know everything. If we're honest, our faith starts with what if. And you know, as we journey through our lives, when we move out of our comfort zone and move a bit further, we enter once again the land of not if. And that's a weird thing, because we tend to think in our Christian lives, once we kind of say, yes, Jesus, I want to follow you, we tend to think it's just a line upwards like that, and everything's going to be fine, and he's going to impart his love and his grace, and everything's going to go well. But actually, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's messy. It's hard. And there are times, frankly, when we just want to turn around and give up. You know, we want to turn around and say, oh, I can't do it anymore. A lot of people did that. In fact, the Bible records that. You know, when Jesus said hard sayings, a lot of people said, I can't do that. I can't go with it. And you know, so at various points in our lives, we have what ifs. And it may be to do with times in our lives where, I don't know, we get married, or we have a job, or we feel we're called to do certain things, and we say, what if? What if? And we have to step out in faith. So the first two verses of this song are about what if, and it talks about what if everything about Jesus was really true. The second two verses are quite interesting, and they talk about what if Jesus were here right now. Okay, so there's an empty seat right there at the back. What if Jesus was sat right there? Okay, what if? Would he stand in a corner? Would he stand out from the crowd? What would we do? Would we feel a little awkward? Would we kind of not know what to do? Would we go up to him and tell him how great we've been and how we're doing this and doing that and doing the other, and we're trying really hard? And I asked myself that question. And so I've changed the words a little bit to make it a little bit Indian, because normally we sing this in a pub and the words say something like, what if would you put up a bar stool and order a beer? So just imagine, but actually that's exactly the kind of place that Jesus used to go to. Okay? He's exactly the kind of place, actually. In fact, if he was here, he probably wouldn't be here, he'd probably be out there somewhere, actually, really. But, I asked myself that question, and I thought, actually, what I'd like to do is just get one of those nice corner booths, put on some of my favourite music, and just listen. Just listen to him, and sit at the foot of Jesus. And, it's like the Mary and the Martha thing, where Jesus came into the house, and Martha was getting everything ready, and she was cooking, and she was cleaning, and she was get out the way. You can imagine what it was like, and you can imagine the tension rising. Have you ever been in a house where the tension's rising because everything has to get cleaned and done and everything? It was like that, And then there was Mary, who just sat at the foot of Jesus. She wasn't doing anything. She wasn't even lifting a finger to help. And yet Jesus said she's doing the right thing. And it made me think a little bit about the way that we live our Christian lives. And, we love to be active and doing things for God. And that's great. We need to be. Lord knows the Western church needs to be more active. It needs more activism in lots of different ways. But that activism has to be rooted in sitting at the foot of Jesus.
Amen.
It has to be rooted there.
Amen.
It has to be rooted in contemplation of our God, in love of our God. Because without that, the activism just is us doing good works and trying to be good. So, I've talked enough. Imagine just for a moment that it were all true. But you walked on the water and saved the whole darn crew. You gave sight to a blind man, set a captive free. Imagine just for a moment, it could have been me. Then you saw the heart, not just a man outside. You walked into a temple and got into a fight. You died the death of the convent on that old tree. Imagine just for a moment, could have been me. I'd tell everyone, the one will believe me. I'd confide in a friend or someone else I knew. I'd tell the whole world, I'd probably say that I was crazy. Imagine just for a moment, it was true. Imagine just for a moment that you were here right now. Or just stand in that corner, or stand out from the crowd. Would you order a cola, or a kingfisher beer? Imagine just for a moment you were right here. I'd tell everyone, and no one would believe me. I could find a friend or someone else I knew. Yeah, I'd tell the whole world and probably say that I was crazy. Imagine just for a moment I'd settle in for the evening. I'd play my favorite songs. Then I'd ask about this old world and where it all went wrong, and where we're all headed, and when will that be? Imagine just for a moment it was just you and me. Oh, I'd tell everyone, but no one would believe me. I'd confide in a friend